Back to life.
Mm. Oh.
Back to. Nobody understands why I know all of the backup, just the backup, ladies and gents and fam, to any of the albums that you were hip to, like the runs. I know the backup, but the SWV week, I can sing that whole song on every single background singer's part.
Control over me. Amazing love,
stay with me. Yeah.
I'm mad you even knew which one I was singing.
Your love. Yeah. And I realized that I know all of her runs, and it was because, and what you would do is, and this is what made it remarkable. This is back in the day when we didn't have CD players in the car. It was a legit cassette tape.
It was a cassette tape.
You would have to rewind the cassette tape just to force me to listen to the part that you were talking about. So we would be writing. This had to be like texting at that time. You would be driving. This is what driving distracted. You would be driving your car, and Coco would do something. You'd be like, "Oh, did you hear that?" And you would lean over. And here's the kicker, Gina. Because you didn't have a cassette, right? When we were in the Escort or whatever, that car didn't rewind. You remember? You would have to eject the tape, flip it over, fast forward it from the other side, and then flip it back over. You perfected that joint. And so then you kept listening to the same run like over and over and over again, man. It's just like,
because it's something about real good singing like that, and a certain way, and you can just feel it in the spirit of the person. Just like, oh, I gotta. Let me tell you what is when I got a newer car with a cassette tape where it recognized where the next song was, if it was like a professionally made tape. So you would just hit it and it would fast forward and it would automatically. This is way. See, these little kids don't know nothing about patience. Like, you have to be patient to get to the song you want. You click it, you hear the, and then your next song would come on.
I remember
that technology.
SWV, that week album. I don't know the name of the album. That Yolanda Adams Riding Through the Storm album.
Oh, that whole album. I don't even remember this.
Just one. I know that whole album. It's one of those things where when I played it one day off of Apple Music, and the nostalgia that came back was just so, like, it was an instantaneous, like, I could
like you were back in the car with me.
I could see the traffic, but I also knew what class, all of the backgrounds.
Because that's important. That's important.
I knew all the background singers.
Let me tell you, you can make or break an artist with horrid backup singers. You can make or break an artist with horrible backup singers. I mean, you can make a mediocre soloist sound phenomenal with phenomenal backup singers.
That's true.
I mean, I'm just saying. So you have to learn a backup singer part.
And if you know some of your music stuff, you'll recognize that a lot of main singers got their start as background singers. Listen, because what shocked me, and I think he was actually still like legit an art, like he was legitimately an artist, I think. Luther Vandross.
He was a backup singer.
He's singing the background to Part-Time Lover. Stevie Wonder's Part-Time Lover.
Stop it. Really?
That is, Luther is singing. Yeah. And one day I was just listening to, this is before I got into.
But you know what though, if you think about when it gets to the end, that vibrato, that is definitely.
But that's what tipped me off. Daryl Coley is another one where he was in some of these jokers' backgrounds, and you're just like, I know that voice. And then later on you realize it's like these heavy hitters, you know, they started as background people. I think some artists get afraid and they are afraid to cast or hire that background singer that sings better than them.
Why?
Oh
They're
no.
gonna make you better. They
Oh,
are
I
going
mean,
to make you sound better.
so you remember that Mariah Carey song
Well,
where that Joker sang
wait,
"I'll
wait,
be there"?
wait. Most backup singers. Well, first of all, let me say this. I think if you're an artist and your background singers come up another level as an artist who knows their craft and also recognizes that they're trying to market this person, then you need to come up another level too. Like, don't get some booty background singers because you don't want anybody to sound, because it's not going to sell. It's not. It's not. Erica Badu, who's a good singer, she
Erica,
has some
yeah,
of the banging background
her
singers.
background's legit.
Oh my goodness, her background singers are ridiculous, ridiculous. So, man, please, he did outsing her though.
He outsang her. He outsang her on "I'll Be There." He outsang her.
He outsang her.
And I think, we was with him, or we was with Mariah. We were just like, yeah, sang Mariah. But when he came out that bridge,
I'll be there.
I keep,
Yeah.
yeah. And you're just like,
Yeah.
what do you do after that? Like, I feel like even with Mariah, I'd have put the mic down and walked off.
No. So you can't
Like,
do that because then you look like you have given up. What you do is you have a syncable episode and just like, and pass out. Like, that's what you do.
no, you do.
You
You turn around to your backup singer and be like, yes, come on now.
Yeah, you can
Find
do that.
someone new. Like, I think, honestly, I'd have been like, come on down here and say, y'all want to hear him sing some more? Yes. And then fire them.
And then- why you gotta fire her? But wait, but though, this is a really good lesson. The fact that you're only as good as your support. Oh, did I just?
Did you see the substances? Dude, we not even like 6 minutes in.
I know, but it's true. You're only as good as your support. And so why would you ever want support that was mediocre? Like, ever, in any field, in any job, with
That's true.
anything.
We say that.
Think about it.
Who is the most important in theater? What do we say? It's not the actors. It's the sound guy and the lighting guy.
Oh, wait. I'm glad that wasn't like a real trivial question. Cause I was like, the prop manager?
No, it is not. And no, it is not the prop person. It's not even the costumer. Because at the end of the day, I performed an entire Roger and Hammerstein Cinderella in jeans and a t-shirt when we were doing it for a benefit. So it's not even the costumer. It's the lighting guy and the sound guy. Because the worst kind of theater is theater that you can't see or you can't hear.
Thus.
Right? And then the audience be rude because they'll be like, I can't hear. Like, they'll start yelling. Your mic's not on. Your mic's
people
not
like
on.
Me. I'm looking to sound people booth. I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I tell my actors whenever they come into the theater, I'm like, let me tell you 2 people that you got to be nice to. Bring them chocolates, bring them flowers, ask what their favorite coffee beverage is. Is that sound guy and that lighting guy? Because I don't know if you've ever been where the sound guy and the lighting guy was having beef with somebody on stage and all of a sudden they walk and that spotlight don't go with them. We're petty.
My goodness.
We're petty and we are petty in theater. That joint happens. It happens. Like, I don't know what happened to your microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, we were supposed to change the batteries today. My bad, sis.
Yeah. So let's do this. Let's go let's go like random job.
Oh, okay. This will be fun.
And we're gonna come up with who is the support person, the non-negotiable.
Okay. Who is a person that if they don't exist, then the whole job is trash?
Right. Now let's say this though. Yeah, and you're right. But let's say this. Everyone's important.
Everybody's important.
We need members of our team. No, we have to say that way more enthusiastically than that, Danita, because we don't want people to feel a certain way. And this is just our opinion, even though we're probably right. But yeah, okay, so let's do that.
I love that.
All
I
right.
love
Okay.
that. This is our
Okay.
opinion, even though we're right.
All right. So I'm gonna pick one. So
Okay.
obviously I'm gonna stay in my field.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm gonna say if you're gonna have surgery,
Mhm.
out of the surgical team, who do you think is who's in like who will make or break you?
The person that cleans the utensils and the anesthesiologist.
Woo! Look at you. Okay, look, can we say surgical instruments though? Like we're not gonna talk about kitchen.
Utensils.
What we're not gonna do is
I don't know what to call
compare
them.
a scalpel to a fork. We're not.
Yes,
We're not
honey.
gonna.
The person who sterilizes the equipment,
Oh, look at you.
okay?
Because you don't
And
know how to instruments.
listen, you want a whole staph infection? Have that joint
Stat-
done
First of
incorrectly.
all, first of all, if they're not cleaned instruments, staff is at best. At best, what you're gonna get. So yeah, but the problem is, okay, so now we're running into an issue because now we're getting people that are equally important.
No,
Um,
and here's the thing, and you said it. We did the disclaimer, but at the end of the day, what happens? You need clean instruments, and you need for your patient to sleep the whole time. Okay.
or have adequate anesthesia because there's some places where they're not necessarily sleep. They might have an epidural for all these pregnant women who want to have their C-sections.
Yeah, right, exactly. And
Sleep.
here's what's fun is that, speaking as a woman who has had a few births under
Quite a
her
few
belt
surgeries.
and quite a few surgeries,
Yeah.
there's a misconception, I think, where when the anesthesiologist comes in, he's supposed to be the most fun-loving guy in the room and make you feel amazing. Most of the anesthesiologists that I've ever run into are like, they're just not that guy.
Yeah,
They're just not that person. What helps the doctor and what keeps y'all from having to crash people, and because you want to have a whole heart attack, let me feel that scalpel cut my belly.
Oh my goodness. So wait.
The nerves work down there, okay? I don't need to feel that. I don't need to feel it.
You don't need to feel. You're right. You don't need. So okay.
Let me
So
feel
let's
you
say.
feeling around in there looking for the baby's legs. I don't need that in my life.
Wait a minute. Okay. So all things equal,
Yeah.
the room is clean. The instruments are clean. They have the right instruments. The vendor, if they're the vendor instruments that have to come in, or especially they're there. Just your surgical team, which is going to be your surgeons, going to be your anesthesia team or your anesthesia person, because it could be a CRNA. Your technician who scrubs the surgical technician who's going to be handing stuff, the assistant, the circulating nurse, out of that team, then yeah, you don't want anybody to screw up. But yeah, because even let's just say, and I'm going to say this as a person who does surgery, who has been the primary surgeon, let's just say there is a complication.
Okay. We'll call it that, complication. All right.
And an artery, we're going to say a vein for the sake of discussion, is hit or something happened and there is a significant amount of blood. You're trying to fix all of this. Person's blood pressure is going down. They're bleeding. That anesthesiologist, they got magical drugs back there.
Mm-hmm.
They get that blood on. My vote is going to be the anesthesiologist. Because what I don't want to do either is do surgery on a person who's moving. Airlines.
Oh, airlines? You ready for this? You wanted my answer?
I'm scared.
The airlines, the most important person on the team, the fuel guy.
How about that?
The fuel guy is the most important person.
Oh,
I don't care how skilled your captain is. I don't care how nice your flight attendants are. We have our favorite flight attendant, Miss Erica, who is a huge fan of the show. She's been on our show. Hi, Erica. Listen, because we love the fact that they have multiple jobs and safety and everything on the inside of the plane, and we love our captains who can, they have so much as that they know how to glide a plane if the engines turn off. However,
for miles,
That is the most important, is the Joker putting gas in the tank.
Okay, I'm gonna go as far as the whole ground crew. The
The
people who are
ground
putting
crew, period.
wait, whoever works inside that plane, whoever makes sure there's beverages. Oh yeah, wait, no, they're important too, Danita.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, you've never been on a plane where they stopped food service because something was happening,
Oh yeah,
like,
turbulence. Oh, for
yeah.
sure.
So
Yeah,
I, like I said, I'm not taking anything away from our favorite flight attendants and how amazing they are, and the captains are amazing because we got to get there. I'm telling
we
you
gotta
though,
get
man,
there.
that fuel guy, man, the fuel guy. Like, if the fuel guy decides, you know what, I don't feel like following directions today, y'all gonna crash in the middle of in the middle of the United States. I mean, just say it. Y'all gonna be going through the roof of somebody's house. Like, there's no excuse. When a 747 runs out of gas
It
in the
don't matter.
middle of its flight, it will never matter how amazing your flight attendant crew is and how amazing the captain
It
is.
will
Like, none of
never
that
matter
ever
how amazing the flight crew is. You're right.
now,
Okay.
granted, I'm sure there are like mad crazy instruments and stuff like that to keep that from happening. I'm just saying that if my money is on, like, let's pay the fuel guy what he wants
Pay the fuel guy.
so that he'll do his job. Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Schools.
Schools. Oh, I already know this answer. You and I both know this answer.
Okay, I want to see what you say. I know what I'm
Wait,
gonna
wait,
say.
wait. This is going to be hard, and it might offend a couple of people. And I'm just going to say in advance, please don't be offended.
Be
But
offended and put it in the comment section. But go
no,
ahead.
no, don't be offended. Don't hurt my feelings in the comment section. I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna have to say the janitorial service.
I'm about to say it's the custodians.
It's the custodian. First
It's
of
the
all,
custodians.
they have keys to every place in that. Oh, even though as a kid, I probably hated them the most because those times what I would say, I left my homework or no, that I didn't get my report card or that, and then my parents who worked the same said school had a great relationship with those who worked there and they were able to call them and of course they had keys everywhere, including my classroom and took me straight in there to
Oh, they did that to you too? That is my whole high school career, honey. Like, that's a whole story.
yeah.
So listen, no, first of all, shout out to our parents because they were teachers. Both our mom and dad taught for 25 years in the school system. It very much resonated with me that both our parents had amazing relationship with the custodial staff like, they made it their business
Right.
to have an amazing relationship. They knew their names. They
They did.
knew, how everything was going. They would stop and speak with them when the custodian would come in the room to clean the classroom. They would engage them in conversation. And when you're younger, you don't really realize, the validation and making a person that people oftentimes would think less than, because how many times if we took a poll in the comment section prior to COVID, shutting everything down, we would take a poll in the comment section, be like, who is the person that empties the garbage in your office at work?
Right.
Would you be able to say, their name is Pat, they have 3 kids, this is like their second, who can say that? Our parents can say that. And why that is significant is because whenever joints would go down in their room, like fish tanks hitting the floor, or kids throwing up, which is the main, because they taught, daddy was 6th grade, mama was 3rd grade. That is the main no as a teacher. You never want the kid in the classroom to throw up. No. Because usually it would start off a what do you call it? A domino effect of upchucking. There's a smell, there's a specific smell that
keep
comes
going, keep going, keep it moving,
up, right?
Keep it moving, keep it moving.
They would make that phone call right there. You begin to realize that how the school functions, like you said, with the keys to everything, when the air condition goes down, when the heat goes down, they are your first line of defense. When just like that happened. And their job is to especially when you have like schools where the kids, they wreck that place during the day because kids wreck things. Then that school, right at 3 o'clock, those custodians are coming out and they're cleaning that whole building. Them jokers not leaving until almost 10, 11 o'clock at night, making sure that that building is in tip-top shape. So you walk back into a clean classroom or a clean front office.
Right.
Custodians, baby. And even our teachers who stay after, because we have teachers like that, and they commit to wanting to educate kids. So even during the summertime, we have teachers that are doing their workshops and getting their professional development, because that's a different conversation, like how underpaid and how unappreciated.
Oh, that's a whole.
We know that, y'all. Like
Yeah.
we live that.
That's a whole show.
Our custodians, though, and our janitorial services of our schools that are stripping floors and waxing classrooms and fixing desks and cleaning walls, especially during COVID time, where they were having to do multiple things every day. Like the custodians, y'all.
That, and honestly, I'm gonna say environmental services everywhere, hospitals.
Yes,
I mean, just that, that infection control piece. That's a whew.
And can we just pause for a second and be like, be nice to these people, what they probably see and how they engage, like be nice to those people. Like be like, yes, thank you, please. Oh, you're amazing. Like,
because they are
the people, because they are, because
they're doing
look,
amazing stuff.
You don't want to do it.
You
right?
Don't do it.
Know their names, know their kids. Wish them.
But don't be a stalker, though. Don't be a stalker, though. Like, it's okay. Like just in general, know them. You
engage in what you think the little person is, right? Because like that's the thing. That's why I love seeing those posts on social media where like parents have their little 4-year-olds waiting for the garbage man to come by so he can give them a gift or give them some Gatorade. Or like during COVID where everybody was on Jeff Bezos's internet getting stuff, and you had those families that would like leave baskets of goodies for the mail people and the Amazon or the Amazon delivery people or the UPS people to pick up. So it was like Gatorade and water and like candies and stuff like that. I love seeing that because where would we be, y'all, if the people delivering the stuff stopped? Where would we be when the mail people stopped coming now? Oh my gosh.
Pediatrician's office.
The nurse. I'm going to go with nurses.
You're going to say the nurse.
I'm going to go with nurses. First of all, again, shout out to the pediatricians. I have had the best experience. And again, I have to go off of my experiences.
Right.
Your nurses, especially when your children have like chronic issues and you're having to have cross professionals deal with them, the nurses are the ones that are talking back and forth to each other. And the nurses are the one that, listen, in pediatrics, I'm gonna always say nurses because you know this story. You know this story.
I know it, but give it.
I'm gonna tell the story.
Tell the story. They don't know.
My ladybug has asthma. I know a lot of people are thinking like, my God, with this child. I know. Like sometimes we
she's like, a strong queen. She's
a song warrior baby.
Warrior girl.
We were still in the midst of trying to get it under control with her meds. There was an order from her pediatrician's office for her inhaler. Basically, like the inhaler said, hey, let her, take it when she comes to you or whatever, every 4 hours if necessary, yada, yada. Those are the instructions. The instructions on the box have to match the instructions that are faxed to the office, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that was given in. So there was, so the school nurse at the time, I will not say her name, had the instructions together. Now,
and don't say the school.
I won't say the school. What a lot of people don't realize about asthma is that there are times where, depending on how bad the attack, sometimes that rescue inhaler, those first 2 puffs are not going to work. You're going to have to do it again. Okay. Now, after a certain point, if you're still having issues, that's when you get into like the nebulizer. Yeah, but whatever. But for the most part, it may not take just 2 puffs. You might need 4. Okay. It's the middle of August where the kids go back to school. Alabama, it is hot, right? And she goes out for recess. Her asthma is, she has a cough variant, heat-induced, exercise-induced asthma, which all of those things came together in like this superstorm of fantasticness. She had her preventative inhaler, puffs. That's what we call them.
Mhm.
Where before you go outside, you need to do this just to kind of make sure the lungs are together, right?
Right.
So she goes outside, she comes back in, she's having an asthma attack. Now, her asthma does not sound like what, the stereotypical, oh, you're wheezing. That's not how it starts. By the
And she
time
has the
Ladybug
cough
starts,
variant.
she has cough variant. So she's
Yeah.
coughing, right? By the time you hear wheezing, you need to call 911. She's asking for her inhaler. The nurse isn't giving it to her because the instructions say she's not supposed to have it. Right? So finally, the nurse calls me. And when I pick up the phone, I can hear Ladybug in the background. I hear the
Mhm.
asthma attack. And she's just like, well, she's saying she needs her inhaler. I was like, look, this is not the one that's using her inhaler like, inhaler. She's not that
Mhm.
kid. If she's telling you she needs it, she needs it. And she was like, well, that's not what the instructions say. I was like, ma'am, I understand what the instructions say. I'm asking you to go ahead and let her have it. And she was like, well, that's not what the instructions say, so I can't do it. I said, I am giving you verbal permission as her mother, who you knew you called, to go ahead and give the inhaler to my daughter because she's in trouble. I hear that she's in trouble. I said, okay, I'm on my way. Now I hang up the phone. I immediately call the pediatrician's office and I am going to say this woman's name. Susan is my daughter's nurse with
Yay,
pediatricians.
Susan.
I love Susan. We love Susan.
Mm.
I called Susan, and Susan, well, I have because of the nature of the kind of patient Lena is, when all you got to say is Lena's mom's on the phone, that joint gets put through like immediately.
And you should feel some sort of way about that, but don't. Like, it's fine.
You don't. You have to understand. You have to understand. Susan picks up the phone. She's like, hey, mom. That's what she calls me. Hey, mom, what's going on? I was like, Lena's having an asthma attack, and they're refusing her medication at the clinic because she's already had puffs before she went out.
At the school clinic, yeah.
At the school clinic.
Mhm.
And she said, okay. And she hangs up.
That's gangster right there. That's gangster.
Next thing I know, from what I hear afterwards, she called the school and was just like, this is the nurse of Dr. So-and-so. And this is, because of the nature of the kind of asthma she has, if she's having an asthma attack, you need to give it. The school nurse argues with the pediatric nurse, right? So now, mind you, my trek to the school is about 15 minutes. We're 15 minutes away from the school, and that's with no traffic. So I'm still driving, 80 miles an hour.
And little girl's got her stats are like 92% now, 90%.
Like now, mind you, and with me, I have her nebulizer because I recognize that by the time I get there, her puffs aren't going to work.
Right.
And in the meantime, the pediatrician's office, Susan, faxed new directions that she had signed by the physician to get, Lena to be able to get her inhaler now. The clinic nurse was just like, well, the new directions don't match what's on the prescription. I get to the school and I walk in, and Ladybug is sitting very still in this chair. I will never forget this. And I walk in the clinic, and she looks at me, and she just starts just crying, just those Denzel Washington glory single tears. And in the meantime, the clinic nurse is just like, see, I just told her if she calmed down, everything would be fine.
Yeah, she was holding her breath, dumb butt.
Right, exactly. And with a lot of people, if you don't know asthma, what is this little part? I don't know what it's called, Gina. Right here, this little piece right here. When an asthmatic is having a bad asthma attack, that joint is like caving all the way.
You're looking at their neck. That's right.
See the indentation come, and then it leaves. And so I'm seeing all of this.
Right.
So I get the nebulizer hooked up or whatever. I put the mask on, and I turn around and looked at the nurse. And I was just like, I'm not understanding how in your training, something has to supersede the directions that you get. Right. And she was just like, well, no, because, and she's giving me the same explanation. And you have to make that conscious decision, especially as a Black woman in situations like that. And this is very true. How far you're willing to go and what that's going to look like. And in my head, I recognized that by the time I was about to get done with this woman, the police were going to be at the school. And we didn't need that at that moment. Like that was, so.
Because your kids still needed a ride home. So.
Exactly. So I did. I took her when she has asthma attacks like that, you have to take her home. She's exhausted. Right. The body's exhausted and she can't do it. I call Susan back and I'm just like, Susan, they're trying to kill my daughter at that school. Like that particular clinic nurse is trying to kill my daughter. Susan was just like, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. And that Monday, that school had a brand new nurse.
Let me tell you something.
Then they had a brand new nurse, y'all. I don't know what happened. People see like they'll probably tell me, "Oh, it was a coincidence." I'm telling you, it was Susan, the nurse at my child's pediatric office, had that hammer fired, and the new nurse, who I still have her number today in my phone, it was a pediatric pulmonology specialist nurse.
Look at God.
I never got phone calls like that again. Never got phone calls like that.
So you're right. You do need if that's your vote for the team. I see that from that personal experience, because you need somebody that ratchet and that gangster to say, "I got you."
Don't you need it.
I think that was ratchet and gangster.
You and you know, and some people, you may feel this way. Go ahead and tell us in the comment section. Be like, oh my gosh, you got that woman fired. They were gonna kill my kid, you guys. They were gonna kill my kid. And I think that's what I appreciated about the fact. Now, I'm saying the nurses at the pediatrics office, because you have to understand, with all of the phone calls and faxes that are having to be sent, the doctor just couldn't do that. There are other patients that they're having to sign off on and look at and see. So you need those support people to be able to do that. The same thing happened again, different office, pediatric office with Lena and her HAE. And we were dealing with a pharmacy that decided they didn't want to give her medication. Who went to bat and threatened legal action? The nurses. The nurses were the one that were calling the pharmacy and be like, you got one more time for this little girl to show up in the hospital and deny her medication and see if we don't pull lawyers into this. And
no, you're right. I mean, that's it's so funny. When I had my private practice, there was a nurse that worked at the hospital, and she was phenomenal. And I was just like, okay, I know you like it here, but I need you in my office, because you need, you know. So I think I would have voted before your story. I probably would have said the receptionist, but I would have said the receptionist in selfish reasons as a person who the practitioner. Because your receptionist, they answer the phone and just like, hello, what? You know, you're not going to get any patients. Like you're not going to have any patients.
No.
But now to hear that story, I'll probably have to change mine to the nurse.
It's a nurse.
What did I say? What did I say? You are only as good as your support.
Listen, so that's what people remember, because we will be lifelong, or at least until they age out, we will be lifelong patients of that pediatrician's office, and we'll be lifelong patients of those. And it's because of the support staff. The doctors are incredible, y'all. But I think too, the doctors are incredible because their supporting staff is incredible, and
But this goes back to the star is incredible because she got a great backup singer. The pilot is doing a great job. He's got enough fuel. The surgeon did a great job because you didn't feel anything. Like it just
you were still asleep. Like exactly. Like that surgeon was good.
Yeah, and the utensils weren't dirty.
And listen, for people that have a support, thank your team. Who your team? You virtual people that are doing these conferences, you better thank the person that's producing that joint back in the back.
You better thank that IT person.
IT should probably have been the universal answer
for everything. Your tech person. Oh my goodness.
Your tech person matters. Hashtag tech people matter. IT saves everybody. It's like.
And your money person matters too, because if them bills aren't paid.
Listen, or if it's getting stolen.
Lights are off.
Lights off. You getting arrested for tax fraud. Like, come on. Where's your water?
Now everybody, now people know why I always wanted to be a backup singer. I like supporting. I want to give you that support you need.
Give you the support, right?
In the alto section, not in that crazy soprano section where the key is too high.
Let me
tell you something. If you can't think the note and you still think an octave lower, it does not matter how much coconut water you have. You are not a soprano.
Bye, girl.
Bye, girl.